So they used to turn turnips and so on in the field?
Oh yes.
By hand and, yeah.
They didn't know that it was necessary.
Yeah, helps with the harvest.
Help the harvest and
yeah.
milking the turnips, the steading of the turnips. Well, there's quite a lot to do in these days.
Yeah.
Aye. And then Betty, when Murray, he got up too, and he took Betty's place, and she started this job she's on now. That's years ago.
Really? The fittings and so on? Yeah?
Aye.
Yeah.
Somebody asked her to do it.
Right.
Somebody was on holiday, and she started doing that, and then she had to go to Ayr. They wanted somebody there.
Right.
She's been there ever since.
Right.
Every Friday.
Right. So that's quite a long way, isn't it?
Aye.
Quite a distance.
Aye.
So does she work in this area for the Ayr Hospital then?
Not very much.
No.
No.
Right.
Well,
so she's all over the place.
Aye, quite a lot in Ayrshire.
Right.
And well, we're at Newton Stewart today. A very odd one she used to go to Dumfries.
Right.
But she gets paid for that. Better, I think.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And Ina will tell you what she does herself.
Yeah, I've met Ina. She looks after the children. She goes to work in the hospital in Stranraer in the children's ward.
Aye.
A couple of nights a week. And
That's
she does cleaning for a lot of people and looking, well, not just cleaning, but looking after other people.
Aye, making them dinner and
Yeah.
put them to bed at night.
Yeah.
She does my house too.
Does she? Yeah. She sounds incredibly busy, actually.
Why, she's busy.
Yeah. I spoke to her before Christmas, and her schedule was, she was looking after people in the afternoon, then she was going to be in the hospital all night, and then she was going to do Christmas shopping in Stranraer in the morning.
Aye.
That's quite a routine. Yeah.
I don't know how she does they forget all these things.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And she was in that film at Port Logan.
Oh right, apparently as an extra.
Aye.
Yeah. Did you see her in it?
Just once, I think I did see her.
Yeah.
It was easy. They didn't dwell long on the extras.
No. I was a bit disappointed by it. I thought it would be. I thought it'd be quite good, and it would make use of this area, you know, the landscape and so on. And it's a bit like EastEnders in.
Aye.
You know,
Aye.
it was really not very authentic. I don't know.
No. They spoiled it. They spoiled it at the very start. They talked about Skye.
Yeah.
And they were up at Skye in the first episode. And folks thought it was Skye.
1,000 Acres of Sky.
Aye.
Yeah. I assumed that it was supposed to be the island Skye, but
It was supposed to be an island.
a fictional island.
Running. Forget the name of it.
I thought it was. It didn't really interest me. I watched one or two. I mean, I watched a few minutes, but I didn't.
I don't think they'll be back. I don't know.
Oh, well, there might be another episode.
There might.
Yeah, another series, wasn't it? Right. So, what changes have you seen in the area since you've been here? Has it?
In the farming line.
Yeah, well, socially as well in this area.
Aye. The farming has changed terribly. Of course, it was all turnips and straw and oats in these days, and no silage. It didn't come in till later, but horse ploughs, carts, with took her own milk to the creamery. No, it was different. The social life. Well, I joined the choir in the church.
Right.
And enjoyed it. Still in it. But the family, they joined the church after, and they were encouraged to attend it,
Right.
which they have done very, very well.
They're all devoted to the church, aren't
Aye.
they? Yeah, yeah.
I, Maurice, convener of the Fabrics Committee, and
Mm-hmm.
Betty's organist, Ina's beadle,
Mm-hmm.
Anne was in the choir too when she was here. But they had a young men's guild in these days, and quite a lot of the young lads joined. They played badminton, table tennis. Nowadays I can hardly get them to join.
Mm-hmm.
That's one difference. Otherwise, Drummore is much the same, except, well, there's more grocer's shops in it in these days, because in these days there's no tractors. It was all horses, and they replaced a tractor that had about 4 pair of horses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the farms had 4 or 5 pair of horses
Mm-hmm.
to do the ploughing.
Right. So it'd be a lot of stabling in a farm like this.
Aye.
Yeah.
All the cot houses were full.
Yeah.
Now they're all empty.
Right. Yeah.
Some taken up by holidays folks and that.
Ah, converted and
Aye.
yeah.
So there's no. When I went to the Sunday school, there was 120 in it. Now there's about 20. Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. But of course the war started, and I was at Keaton Park when the war started, really, and I didn't know what to expect. I used to go to the harvest field and wonder if the bombers would move.
Right.
They never did, of course. But I joined the Home Guard,
Aha.
Dad's army.
Dad's army, right. Right. So, I mean, people like you were required to carry on farming.
Aye,
and,
we had to.
produce food. Yeah?
But the thing that we did, we went up onto a high hill way up the back there at night from dusk to dawn and watched for enemy planes
Right.
and reported them to West Fruch
Right.
if we saw any.
Right.
Which
Did you often see? No.
No.
A lot of waiting.
Except except the night that Belfast and Clydebank was moved. We saw them went over that night.
Right.
But we knew what they were.
Yeah.
I knew them anywhere, the drone of them.
Yeah. So they came all the way to bomb Belfast. I didn't know they bombed Belfast.
They come up the Irish Sea, the Irish Channel, took a line from the Mullagallowa Lighthouse close to Belfast,
Right.
same to Clydebank. They couldn't put it out, of course, the light was always on.
Right. Yeah.
Apart for that, well, there was 2 killed at the lighthouse one foggy night down too low and struck a dike, 2 French Canadians. That was the only casualties I think that we had.
But a plane crashed into it.
Aye. Aye. both killed.
Mm.
Otherwise,
A quiet war.
we're all right. We're eggs and milk. And we could kill a pig if you wanted.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't too bad for meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things were rationed, certainly.
Yeah. I suppose if you're producing food, and you're in a farming neighbourhood, there's always something, isn't there?
Aye.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was doing some work down in Barrow and Furness, and interviewing a lot of people who remembered the war there, and they had a terrible time because of all the shipbuilding there.
Aye.
They were bombed a lot. I
Oh,
think.
there.
Yeah. Quite a terrible time. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
No, the tried for West Fruch. That was the train the station down there. Where it is.
Yeah.
Between here and Glenluce.
Right.
It trained 602 squadron, and there was quite a lot.
Right.
And but it was well blacked out.
Right.
They always, they got near it one night with a land mine. They would throw it to 2 or 3 fields of it and made a hole in the size of this ceiling, this room.
Mm-hmm.
But they never got it.
Mm-hmm. So Murray was telling me there's one of these, obviously much more recently than this, but one of these target planes came down in Kilstay Farm.
Oh, aye.
Yeah. He was hoping to salvage the engine, but the Ministry of Defence arrived and took it away.
Aye.
Yeah.
They pulled targets. That's what
Right.
the gunners. Aye.
So has that been going on for years here in the bay?
Aye.
Yeah?
Aye. It was started before the war started, really.
Did it?
Aye, and they built a big shed in Drummore for boats. The boats lay off there for.
The target boats?
But, aye. But they had fast boats in case anything happened to a bomb went the wrong way.
Right.
And these men were always in hand with their wee boats. But it's still there, that shed, but it's fallen to pieces.
Yeah.
But we had
Did you hear the guns from the farm?
Hmm?
Can you hear the guns?
I recruited from the aircraft. We could hear them quite often. But we had a direction finding station at Keegan Park up in the hill. They built a big tower and they put very, very high powered wireless sets in it to pick up planes or whatever. We couldn't get near it with a tractor except we had
You set off the radar.
Aye.
Yeah.
No, it put them off, seemingly, the tractor. But we never went near them with a tractor. We just. No. So we had a great time. We kept the airmen, there was 8 airmen manned it. And the allotted to us, two of them, to each house round about.
Right. So they billeted there to look after the...
Uh-huh.
Right. Right.
Aye. They had to be on there. They were done at 8 o'clock, I forget it. 8 to 8 in the morning or something. It was quite a good spell. And then they were called away. That was the finish of them. That was before the war finished. Didn't need them up here then.
Mm-hmm.
They had Hitler where they wanted them.
Mm-hmm. 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 Good. Yeah. So what has been the most significant moment of your life, do you think, if there is such a thing?
I was going to say getting married, but well, that was a significant moment. Uh-huh.
Where did you get married?
Green Park.
All right.
We went up in late 1930s. I was with my brother. There was none of us married. We had a housekeeper. And in 1940, I got married. And the wife come up to Cregan Park, stayed with my brother and I until we came down to Hallyholm in 1944. So that was it. There was Betty, he never born. With them to shift down.
Right. So where did you meet your wife?
I met her really at Logan Gardens. We had a fete at Logan, the church. And she was at Ardwell. She was in Ardwell, Low Ardwell. That's down near Clellanmore. Just down. So anyway, that's where I met her and went on from there.
Right.
We were married in the Queen's Hotel in Drummore.
Right. It's quite romantic to meet at a garden fete.
Oh.
It's great.
The Kirk station was doing Heather Ale. Ever hear of Heather Ale?
Oh, Heather Ale, no. Right.
Oh, it was a play they did just out in the open. It was supposed to be great. Heather Ale, and it died with this chap. Never was supposed to. Well, I see they have it back again. But no, that's another story. Aye. But we were all right in Hallyholm. As I said, the children all did their work. And
so Murray worked with you on the farm from the moment he left school?
Aye,
yeah.
aye. He did. He went on to milk and relief before Betty was away at this job. And he was up in Perthshire, I think, and he was down in the North of England, just on milk and relief. Folks that was wanting milking done.
Well, they had a holiday.
Aye.
Yeah.
Him and another chap went on to that. Oh, they come home whenever Betty left. Well, she didn't leave. She was still at Hallyholm and just working away. In 1970, I think it was, Murray announced that he was going to get married. And, well, we said, fair enough, we'll buy this wee house down in the shore. It was a bit of a wreck. So we knocked it down and built this. The one that's there now, that was 1970. So the wife had, it's in 10 years down there, before she died, and I've been there ever since.
But you still worked on the farm?
Aye.
Whilst you lived down there, yeah.
I worked on the farm until I was 80, I think. And they let me away then.
Couldn't get rid of you, obviously.
Right, they're still giving them a dinner and tea. Well, it was very good to me.
Yeah. You go up to Kilstay every day for lunch and tea.
Aye.
Yeah.
If I'm not up there, I'm up here.
Right.
Barbara, she goes to town to Drummore on a Tuesday. And they say, go up to Betty's today for your dinner. I'll be away, so that's what I do. So this week, I was to go up Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and Barbara would be away. So that's what I'm doing.
Right. Have you had a cup of tea or anything? Because you've been just coming straight out of the car, haven't you?
No, I had a cup in Glenluce.
All right. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they have their tea.
Not that it's for me to offer you tea, but...
No.
Right.
No, you'll be getting from Susan.
Susan?
Susan.
Yeah, Susan's making tea. What, they have it 6:30, don't they? I'll need to get down there for them.
I will have it here about that time too.
Yeah.
And Betty goes away to the operatic at 7 o'clock.
And that's in Stranraer.
Stranraer.
Yeah. I believe Jane would have been doing that too, but because of lambing, she's not going to this year, I think.
No, she'll not get no.
Yeah, so this is rehearsal, is it?
Aye,
yeah.
aye.
Right. When's the choir down here at Drummore?
Sunday night we have a practice here.
It's Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Right. Right. I might try and get here one night and film that.
Well,
So
Betty will tell you.
Betty's in the choir.
Betty plays the organ.
Betty plays the organ, and you're in the choir. Yeah.
And Ina's in the choir.
Ina's in the choir. Excellent. Right. Right.
While Ina kind of gets, she used to put somebody to bed or.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No. Oh, I enjoyed the choir. I think I have four or five certificates. So many years in the choir.
Yeah, yeah. You play the low...
bass.
Yeah.
I learned the solfa at the school. They don't do that nowadays. And some of the teachers would rather have the solfa than the staff. They said they were truer singers. I don't know much truth in it, but when I went into the choir, I went in with my brother. He was in it too. There was 2 or 3 men, and there was some sang bass, and I started and followed them on the bass, and I was did anything else since.
Right.
Aye. Now we can hardly get men.
Right. Mostly women, is it? Yeah.
Aye. Aye, men's very, I don't know whether they're shy or
Well, people don't have as much time these days, do they, I suppose?
no.
Um,
I don't know what singing they get at the schools nowadays. We got a lot of singing.
yeah. I don't know, it's sort of things have changed in general, I suppose.
Aye, aye.
Did you make them go to church when they were young? Did you push them into it?
Well, I hadn't very much bother at all.
Right.
I think when they saw their mother and father was going, they liked to go too.
Yeah.
That's just what it should be, I suppose. But no, they were quite keen on the Sunday school and all. In these days there wasn't much else to do on the Sunday. No. These were the days.
Yeah. Well, I think, for me, coming to this area is quite interesting because it seems that many things continue as they have done for a long time.
Aye.
You know, you see a lot more change
Aye.
where I live at Carlisle. It's and certainly down south, you know, things are very different.
Aye,
There's much more continuity here, much more
aye.
family cohesion and
Aye.
tradition.
Oh, that'd be true, right?
Yeah. Well, it's quite refreshing, really.
Aye.
Yeah. I suppose that the death of your wife was another very profound moment in your life.
It was very much, aye. She suffered for 2 or 3 years, you know. Bad backs. It was just cancer went through her. She died at home down there. And Dr. Hawken was her doctor. He's retired now, but it was very good to her. Kept from suffering too much. But oh, it was a great loss. So then I had Anne at home for a wee while down there until she got married. And I was left alone then.
Uh-huh. She was down in your cottage with you?
Down a wee while now.
Ah, right. Yeah.
But she had work. She got a job as Drummore, the cooking. She liked the cooking. She was at the school meals, I think it was. And she was there, and coming back and forward, you know.
You were telling me about your dad coming up from Liverpool.
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit about that again? Why he came? You see,
Well,
inherited the farm.
His uncle and auntie had a farm at Whithorn, and he used to come as holidays, and he liked it that much that he thought he'd like to settle down on this side. So when they died, he took the chance and come across and got the farm. They had this wee farm. So he was there until they got married and started having his family. Found out it was too small a place, and he tried for this in Kilmaiden, which was Hallyholm, and it wasn't built, it was just a scheme that I think it was the Liberal government was in. They broke up some of the big farms to give a ploughman or a dairyman a chance to start up on his own. So that's what he did.
Did he have experience of farming then before he came?
Oh yes.
Yeah?
No until he come across, no. He was just a Liverpool boy, you know, and
Right. Yeah.
had no experience at all.
So it was in at the deep end.
Aye.
And it would be milking by hand and
Aye.
the rest of it, yeah?
But he soon learnt
Right.
to farming. He had nothing to learn when he came to Drummore, of course. He had it all.
So when he first moved to Drummore, that was a much bigger farm, a bigger herd.
Yes.
But it was also beaten. I mean, other crops as well. I mean,
Aye.
Yeah.
I just had about 25 cows or something. But that was quite all right in these days. We gave them a good living, I think.
It was viable to have 25 cows in those days.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Milk was a better price.
Right. Did you ever had any doubt about going into farming? You were always certain you were going to go into farming?
No, I was. He put my name in for a bank, and there wasn't a vacancy at the time. And when the vacancy came, I was I was left to school and started to work on the farm, and I gave up the notion of the bank.
In a bank?
Pardon?
Did you want to work in a bank?
Well, I think I would liked it all right, but when I got started on the farm, that was it.
Right. And so what age did you start working on the farm?
Well, whenever I left the school, I went to 15. 15-year-old.
And your duties were to what did you do?
I just had to do everything. I had to milk cows and feed them and clean them,
Right.
clean them out and all that. And then I had to work at the harvest and put in the crops, you know. I wasn't myself, of course. There was another chap worked along with us.
Right. So you worked on your farm on the two farms from when you were 15 to when you were 80.
Yeah, it was 80 years.
That's an incredible stretch, isn't it?
Aye, well, I was very lucky health-wise. I had the only thing I ever had was scarlet fever. I was in the hospital about 7 weeks with scarlet fever and felt pretty bad.
Right.
But apart from that,
You're very lucky,
quite lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose it's a reasonably healthy life.
Oh, yeah.
Outdoor life.
It is.
Yeah.
Aye, it's healthy.
Yeah. In the elements. Yeah. So can you sort of you were telling me about when you were engaged. I'll try not to interrupt. If you tell me about what age you were when you met your wife, your fiancée, what life was like here then, and what age you were when you married, and then where you lived and so on.
Yes.
Could you?
Well, we got engaged, I think it was 1939. The war was just starting, you know, and I was in Creek Park in these days, and we got married in 1940 in the Queen's Hotel in Drummore. We couldn't get into the church because there wasn't any blackouts in the windows. It was at night, so. But the war started, and we had the airmen stayed with us. It was up on a project up in Drummore. They had a wireless sets, very high frequency wireless sets. And we couldn't go near them with tractors or anything. And that was all right. They were up there until the war was pretty well over. But they couldn't keep the German bombers from bombing Belfast or Clyde Bank.
So this was your parents' farm?
It was my brother's farm. It was my brother's farm. Hallyholm was my parents' farm, and I just come up there for to let my brother. He was going into hospital, and I went up there to take on the other holding because my sister was with him, but she got married and they needed another tenant. It was a double tenancy farm, so that's why I went up there, and I was there until 1944. And during that time, I sold milk in Drummore, just with pint jugs.
You used to drive round?
I drove round in motor and trailer. Did that every...
So you milked, then you delivered the milk?
Some of it, not all.
Yeah?
Just what done Drummore, which was about 20 or 30 gallons every day, which I enjoyed.
So you get to meet everybody, and the whole...
I knew all the old women in Drummore.
Right. Right. So that would be quite a long day, wouldn't it?
I had finished at dinner time.
Right.
I started about 8 o'clock in the morning, went round, and it was finished at dinner time. And
but you'd still be milking morning and night?
Oh yes.
Oh, right.
It was quite a busy time. However, that's all stopped now.
Oh yeah. Very different now. You met your wife
at Logan. A fete at Logan. That's where I met her. And she belonged to the Ardwell district. She was a farm, Low Ardwell. And we courted for a wee while anyway.
How old were you then?
26.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She was only 19.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So when you married, you moved straight into the farm together?
Aye, to Cregan Park, yes.
Right.
I was already there, you know.
Already farming it yourself?
With my brother.
Right, I see.
And she moved in with us. So we were there until my father retired and I came back down to Hallyholm and brought the family, which consisted of Betty and Nina. Murray was just born after that.
So Betty's how much older than Marie?
Betty was born in 1942. Murray was 44. I just about 3. I think about 3 years old.
So, because Betty worked on the farm with you before Murray.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye, Betty.
Well, he was still at school.
Betty left the school and just started to work on the farm. The chap we had died and we were left with nobody, and Betty, she took over until Murray was age, and he started after that, carried on ever since.
Was there any doubt that Murray would farm himself? Did he ever have thoughts of doing anything else?
No, I don't think he ever had. No, he had a wee spell at the relief milking,
Right.
which he enjoyed. He was up in Perthshire sometimes and down the North England and on the borders. He quite enjoyed it. However, when Betty started up her other job, he had to come home, but he was quite pleased to do that. Oh yes, he enjoyed the tractor work and so forth. There was no horses in these days, they were away. So the tractors appealed to them.
Well, the tractor was a new sort of thing then.
Aye, it just came but start of the war years. The tractors came, milking machines. That was another one that most of the folk didn't like hand milking. But when the milking machine came, it eased the situation.
Yeah, it's quite hard for me to comprehend that, farming life is absolutely, almost the same every day. You've got to be up, you've got to milk, you've got to...
Yes, that's true, yes.
Yeah.
Aye.
Did you ever find it boring? I mean, did you ever get fed up with farming?
No, not really, no.
No?
There was always something would take up your attention, Although you had to do the same chores every day. But when it come on to harvest time and seed time and that, it gave you some things to get.
So quite a lot. I mean, you grew other crops. I mean, you didn't just milk in the earlier days. Why has there been a shift from other kinds of agriculture to just dairying? Because you had barley. Did you not? In the earlier days, you used to grow...
we grew corn and turnips, hay, but that's all done away with now. It's
right.
mostly silage.
Right. that needs to be bigger and bigger farm, does it? You need more land to do that.
Aye, and well, there's quite a lot of farmers grow barley and wheat. Not so much oats nowadays, but still grow oats. Some English farmers anyway for the ponies.
Oh yeah, oats. Oh yeah, I imagine.
Aye, they need that.
Yeah.
But of course up here we don't have very many ponies.
Right. Right. So most of this whole area is dairy.
Aye.
And sheep. There's some sheep.
Aye, and sheep.
Yeah.
Aye. Look, there's a lot of beef too. Yes.
Right.
Quite a lot of farms. There's no cows now. They put off the cows because of the price of milk. They went into beef. And some, of course, if they had the land for sheep, they went into that too.
So we were talking yesterday about you know, the most life-changing time of your life is when you got married.
Oh yes. That was the most life-changing, I think, getting married, then starting a family. And the most annoying bit, I think, was the wife's death. The youngest daughter, Anne, her death. But apart from that, I was quite healthy, you know. We had quite a good life together. And the family did us very well. They behaved themselves.
Yeah. None of them ever rebelled. You didn't have any.
No.
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 Right. It's amazing how they've all remained so close as a family, and how they're all really involved in farming in one way or another.
Aye.
And with charity work and looking after people, real sense of community.
Aye, that's so.
Yeah.
Aye.
I mean, there's so much voluntary work that they do.
Aye, well, Bed plays organ, of course, that's...
Yeah.
But and she's choir mistress too.
Right. So did you bring them up to play a part in the community? Is that something you tried to do?
Aye, we did, yes. But they were very easy trained. They liked it to be doing something in the community, oh yes.
So you sing in the choir down at the church?
Yes.
Or
I've been in it since I was 14. So, I'm not very much good minding, but there's just about two men left. We're supposed to be getting some men in, I don't know, but that's the worst job, getting men to sing in the choir, see. However, I enjoyed it.
So you must be the oldest standing member of the choir, by a long way, I would imagine.
Aye, oh yes.
Yeah. That's something to see. I'll have to come and see the service. So is it every Sunday you sing down there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
every Sunday. Except in the summertime, they have a service up in the old church in the hill. The last Sunday each month, beginning in May to September.
May to September, right.
The last Sunday each month is up there, yes.
Ah, so it's not then, there's no service at Drummore?
No Sundays, no, that day.
I see.
No. That was an article, the United, these two churches united in 1929, I think it was. And they made that a stipulation that they would have a service, still have a service in it. It was built in 1638.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to let it go, so they formed a fund for raising money, a Covenant Society, and they kept it up, kept the building up, you know.
That's a lovely church, actually, and it's been quite a lot. It's had a completely new roof, hasn't it?
Aye, have you been up?
I've been up there. You weren't actually there that day, but I went to the carol service before.
Oh yes.
Before Christmas.
No, I didn't go up that night.
Yeah, and it was a lovely service actually, with candlelight and quite full. It was a really, really nice service actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, the film boys were up there.
Oh right, yeah.
And they had a wedding and a funeral.
Murray showed me a bit of the tape of that.
Oh, aye.
Which is, I mean, it's a lovely location, isn't it? And high up with views.
A lovely view down onto the bay.
Yeah. Right. So, how do you feel about the changes in lifestyle these days? It must have changed a lot since you were...
Well, it changed a lot. There was no drugs in my young days. No, not. We never heard tell them at all. I smoked, that was the only thing I did. I've done that since.
How long is that?
Oh, it started when I was maybe 16.
And you smoked all your life?
Uh-huh.
And you're still healthy?
No, not too bad.
No, that's not bad.
Well, considering I'm 87.
Yeah? Yeah, people did in those days. My dad smoked for most of his life. He's 90 now.
Is he?
Yeah. Amazing. My mum's still alive, but she's got Alzheimer's. And she smoked. Everybody smoked.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't seem to do so much harm as the drugs were doing.
Mm.
You know, you didn't need so much money to buy the cigarettes as drugs.
But you haven't seen any evidence of drugs really in your life, presumably?
No. I read about them in the papers, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But
Right.
no, there's some things it hasn't even proved right enough in the time. Other things have it. The motor car was a great innovation in my young day. There was when I was out of school, we had television or a radio, no wireless, until about, it was in the 1920s, I think. We got a wireless set. My uncle brought it up from Liverpool, and that's the first time we had wireless. So what did you do? What did you do at nights? You couldn't watch the telly or listen to wireless. We just had to make our own entertainment, which we did. We went to visit one another's houses, usually about Christmas time, and sung round the piano. And good nights. And the dances in these days, there was no drink connected with it. You started at 8 o'clock and danced till about 1 and took your girl home.
Sounds like a wonderful life. So that's why all your children have grown up learning how to sing and to play piano and that sort of thing, yeah?
Aye, oh yes.
So that's how they grew up, and you carried on like that.
Uh-huh. Aye, that's right. We always had something at night. There's concerts, and West Drives. Quite a lot of these. And the odd dance in Drummore. But of course they couldn't get away until the motor cars came. They couldn't go to Drummore. They had to dance at home. And I had to do the same. But after the motor car came, they could go away and go to dances in Stranraer. But my family didn't often do that. They just usually stayed in Drummore. Well, then we had the Young Men's Guild, and they were the girls from the GA, Girls Association. Would maybe a couple of nights in the week that we went to that. Played badminton, table tennis, all the wee smaller games. So it was quite enjoyable.
Yes, it sounds incredible, It's
Aye.
But there were a lot more people down here then. There were a lot more agricultural people.
Aye.
Yeah.
Every house was occupied, which is not nowadays because the tractors did away with quite a lot of horsemen on the farms. There were four or five horsemen, and they had houses. Same with the milkers. Before the milk machine came, they were well, usually their wives, the horsemen's wives milked, but they all needed houses. That's done away with.
So where did they all go? They went back to the towns?
They must have went back to the towns, quite a lot of them, aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
But there was never much industry in Stranraer itself, there was there, for jobs for people?
No, there wasn't much at all. They had the boat traffic. I don't know when it started, but it's quite a while ago. The first boat, oh yeah.
Murray was telling me about when they were kids, they used to play on these beaches and they'd find phosphorus shells. Phosphorus.
Oh yeah.
And they'd set them alight or kick them and they'd smoke and so on,
Aye.
From Beaufort's Dyke, I think it is. Yeah.
Aye. They're still finding them yet in the shores. Aye. I never encountered any of them at all.
Did you not, right?
No.
Right. I think that's. That's fine. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Well, I hope I didn't you something good.
Yeah, I like that last piece you were telling me about. The old days when there were dances and everybody entertained and so that would fit in very nicely, I think, because I've been filming the family all entertaining entertaining everywhere, and so you can see that continuity.
Well, I hope I haven't been telling lies.
I don't know. I wasn't there, so
No, that's true.
I'm sure it was like that. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yes,
yeah,
it was like that.
yeah.
Oh, I think I've had quite a good life. We certainly had to work, but they got playing too, with their dances and concerts. And Murray, he started a concert party. They would tell you that, of course.
When was that?
Oh, a few years ago.
Right. I've seen him entertaining. I've seen him at
Aye.
Thornycroft in
Thornycroft, yes.
Yeah. And also at Isle of Whithorn. They did a Christmas
Oh,
party.
you were there at aye.
Yeah. That was a big night. That was a absolutely packed hall it was.
Wasn't it, aye?
Yeah. And they're great. I mean, Murray's a natural entertainer. He's great with his
Aye.
jokes and...
And there's another thing he's good at, auctioning.
Aha. Yeah. I have to see that yet.
In fact, he was offered a job as an auctioneer once, and somebody came up from, I don't know where they come from, but he was auctioning. He had an auction sale every April.
Right.
He gathers up the whole year. And we saw on the shed, it's full of stuff. Folks vacating their houses if somebody's died or not. They say they're late to Murray to sell for the church.
Right.
Goes to the church funds.
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.
there's quite a lot of work in it. He's a wee pick up there, and he gets furniture left to him, and he's all that to bring to Hallyholm and store until the sale. But I enjoys it.
A lot of unpaid work, yeah, a lot of charity work.
Oh, aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah.
There was a meeting last night at the Congregational Board, and they were just saying they never had got 1 penny for petrol. And he works the whole year, and they say, well, that would have to stop, we'd have to get paid for his petrol, which is a big item nowadays.
It is, absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think he's going to get paid for that.
Well, that's the least I would imagine, yeah, that would be good.
Aye.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. The whole family have this, you're obviously a family who give a lot to the community, and that's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Oh yes, he's been very good with the church. And as I say, he was convener of the fabric committee, which looks after the fabric of the church and the hall. There's quite a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I think you had a meeting last night about the paint.
I had, yes.
They're going to paint the church, aren't they?
Aye. Aye, that's right. I didn't go to it, but I'm on that committee too, but I'll leave it to the younger folk.
Right. Great. Well, I think that's absolutely spot on.
Uh-huh.
Thanks very much, yeah.
You're very welcome, sure. You're doing...
Oral history.
Aye.
Ah.
Was it some of these petroleum firms that gives them the money for it? Esso or Shell or some of these, they gave this grant for it, and they gave them a wee machine to, no for seeing me, but just for listening. Tape record.
Yeah.
And there was two ladies, I think, pointed to go round the old folks, and they did quite a lot. They lived in the teens, I think. Aye.
Great.
That was just to keep the tradition,
to keep a record.
Record old history.
Yeah, people's memories and so on. Yeah.
That's what it's for.
I'll have to find out about that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So have you been recorded for them?
I have been recorded. Betty was going to get you the tape.
Ah, is that what she was talking about? Right.
Aye.
I think it's absolutely excellent, that the oral history things. Then somebody eventually will transcribe it all.
Aye, aye.
And you'll be printed. And
Printed out too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, fantastic.
You can either listen to tape or read the account.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, because things are going to change so much, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've listened to some of the other folks' tapes, and it's really good to see how they lived long ago. And that's what they're trying to keep.
Yeah.
Tracks.
Well, that's more or less what I'm doing, I guess. It's, I'm doing from now to the past. I mean, it's not all history.
Who are you working for?
Just for myself, really. Well, it's Dumfries and Galloway Arts Association.
Ah, the arts. Aye.
So they've commissioned me, and I'm going to need to try and raise some more money to do it from Northern Arts. I mean, that's in Newcastle, and the Scottish Arts Council possibly. I've got to explore, avenues for funding,
Nice.
but it's a non-profit thing. It's an art thing.
And can you tell me why this family was
Chosen?
picked out?
Well, I was asked to explore the Stranraer area, this particular area, of all of the areas in Dumfries and Galloway. I was directed to come up here, and I started talking to people in Port Patrick.
There's a Lisbon coin and this cube.
Lisbon and... I think fortunately, I think I'm right.
Okay, this is Wild Track.